Good morning. I'll call the Central Oklahoma Transportation and Parking Authority March 6th trustee meeting to order. And there are no items from the chairman. Are there any residents to be heard? If not, we'll move to item 4, which is approval of the minutes of the January 6th meeting, 2026. Are there any corrections or questions or amendments or anything? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes? Are we going to do this electronically? We could go ahead and do a voice vote. Is there a motion? Somebody make a motion?
Second.
Robert made the motion. Angela seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to item 5 is the consent docket. There are 2 items on it. Are there either items that any of the trustees would like to consider individually? If not, is there a motion to approve our consent docket?
Motion.
Okay, Jason makes a motion. Is there a second? Bailey seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to individual consideration, item A is the request for proposals for Embark fare change policy and authorize the administrator to advertise.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Stand by. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. So, yes, item A here is a request for a proposal for our Embark fare change policy. So, if you remember, back in 2017, we had a contract with 49s. And out of that contract, they established our current fare policy. However, it is pretty standard practice to take a look at your fare policy pretty regularly, at a minimum, usually 5 years. And so it's time for us to update our fare change policy, take a look at our current structure. Also out of that will come a recommendation of how to move forward with our fare box technology. So that is the technology that is on our buses, and potentially also at our transit center. If you're familiar with our farebox technology, it is from the late 90s. So it's time to take a look at that, take a look at possibly upgrading that as well. And so also part of that is looking forward to the Olympics. And so we want to make sure that we integrate our farebox technology to make it as easy to use as possible. So all of that will come out of this fare policy.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? I think as far as the fare box goes, it's time to be looking at that for sure. So are we going to do this electronically, Joyce?
No, the voice call.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve item A?
So
Meg made the motion and Angela seconded.
there you go.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to item B, which is to approve amendment number 1 to the UniFirst Corporation for uniform rental services from March 5th, 2025 through May 6th, 2026.
Yes, sir. So with this amendment, we currently have a contract with UniFirst. They provide the supply and the laundering of our uniformed employees, specifically our maintenance employees. And so with the bringing on of the streetcar, we wanted to make sure that we incorporated those uniforms into our contract as well. And we're also looking at the possibility of upgrading our maintenance uniforms. They've been the same design, same color for about probably 20 to 25 years. And so we're wanting to bring a little bit more energy to those uniforms. And so in that process, it's taken a little bit longer to get all of that information put together. So with this amendment, extends our current contract as we wrap up negotiations for the new contract.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? We want all of our people to look sharp, so the updating this is
One
good.
question. So we service for those uniforms, they clean the uniforms, but there's no cost to the employees, right? For, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Okay. Well, moving on to approve item B, is there a motion? I see it, but
It's trying.
it's trying.
It says voting not available on mine, though.
Okay, well, okay, Robert moved, Jason seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Moving on to item C, if I can get item B to go away. Item C is the renewal number 5 of the Memorandum of Understanding with the Regional Transit Authority of Central Oklahoma, DBA One Transit for interim administrative services, annual revenue of $271,634, retroactive to February 1st, 2026 through January 31st, 2027.
Yes, sir. With this renewal number 5 to the MOU with One Transit, this allows us to collect reimbursement for employee time that's going to be put toward One Transit and help supporting One Transit. I'm sure you're familiar with the recent launch of the brand of One Transit, and so we are definitely getting into ramping up more of that communication, and so more employee time is going toward helping support One Transit as they move forward in their project.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions about this? If not, is there a motion to approve item C? We're going to do this orally.
Yep.
Can I get a motion? Oh, wait. Okay, James made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Meg. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We're getting closer, I see. But not quite there. Okay, if I can get this to go away. All right. Item D is the adopt a resolution authorizing a change in the cost estimate for the purchase of automotive repair and maintenance parts and supplies from pricing agreements with Gillig, Muncie Reclamation and Supply, DBA Muncie Transit Supply, Ram Products Incorporated, Vehicle Maintenance Program, OK Batteries, New Flyer, DBA NFI, Parts, Mohawk Manufacturing and Supply Company, at an estimated annual cost increase of $350,000 for a total of $1,550,000 for a period ending May 19th, 2026.
Yes, sir. So items D, E, and F, if it's okay, I'll talk about all three of them at the same time.
Do we want to read all three of them and then come back?
Sure.
Okay. Item E,
That's right.
huh?
Yeah, we'll just vote for them independently.
Yeah, we'll do that. But item E then is to adopt a resolution authorizing the change in the cost estimate for the purchase of Cummins OEM engine parts and service from pricing agreement with Cummins Southern Plains LLC and Holt Truck Centers. Estimated cost increase of $350,000 for a total of $850,000 for the period ending October 6th, 2026. And then item F is to adopt a resolution authorizing a change in the cost estimates for the sole source purchase of aftermarket replacement parts and supplies compatible with GenFair equipment from GenFair LLC, estimated cost increase of $50,000 for a total of $150,000 for the period ending October 2nd, 2026. Okay, now we'll do all three of them, and we'll talk about all three
Would
of
you
them.
like a glass of water? Yeah. So yes, so all three items, D, E, and F, are essentially increasing our budget authority for all of these contracts. And the reason why we're looking to do that, as we're ramping up, we are about 867 days away from the Olympics, right? So it's quickly coming upon us. But as we're ramping up, going toward the Olympics, typically what happens is when a fixed route bus reaches 12 years, it's time to start surplusing those buses, which means taking them out of our fleet. But what we're doing and what our plan is to help support the Olympic Games is we're going to maintain our current fleet as well as continue to add to our fleet so that when it comes time to support the Olympic Games, we have that surplus fleet to be able to do that. And so to do that, as these buses continue to age, we have to purchase more parts. A big one, and Christina will talk about it later in her board report, is we've had to replace a few engines. You know, typically, if they're past their useful life, if the engine dies on them, we'll surplus them. We wouldn't look to continue to invest in those buses. But to maintain that fleet, we're looking to continue investing in the older fleet. It's much cheaper than buying, new buses. So that's why we're seeing this budget authority increase on those items.
Okay, are there any, Robert?
With the Olympics coming up, are there additional budget considerations on the income side that will help offset some of this, and what does that look like?
There is. So the city and Team OKC are in continued conversations with not just state legislators, also the OMB office in DC, as well as Region 6. So while there hasn't been anything dedicated yet, we are definitely in close communication with them, and I'll talk about another item later that we think will help support that as well.
Do we run any risk about getting ahead on some of these expenses and not getting that funding, or can we make this contingent upon additional funding, or are we good with our current budget?
So we'll talk about that in the board report. It's going to be tight, but we feel like we have some wiggle room in other line items, some cost savings in other line items to help support this movement. So I don't think being contingent is where we're at yet. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? As the fleet ages, we have to keep them rolling. Okay, is there so we'll do these individually. So item D is the first one, and is there a motion to adopt a resolution? It's been moved by Robert, seconded by James. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. So item E, then, is there a motion to adopt that resolution? Robert has moved. Bailey has seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item F, then, to adopt a resolution. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Angela. Is there a second? James. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on then to item G is to approve a change order number 5 with Cade Construction for the Embark Administration building renovations at a cost increase of something that just went away. Let's see. $62,029.88.
Yes, sir. So we are quickly approaching the wrap-up of phase 1 of our South May remodel, and we'll hear a presentation about that a little bit later. But with this item specifically, so $62,000, the majority of that is made up of general conditions from Cade Construction. So essentially what happened was early in the project, so we identified that we would take on the AV and the IT part of the remodel. And so staff worked really closely with a contractor to be able to bring those items in. However, our IT major cabinet that we needed to install to be able to transition our IT components over to that new cabinet was late to arrive. So we still maintained operations out of South May as we're going through the remodel. And so to prevent us from essentially going down in dispatch, we had to leave it as it was until those IT components would arrive on site so we can make that switch over, which resulted in a delay in the demolition process because they couldn't go in and demo that particular IT closet. So with that, we wanted to maintain the contractor at the site, and so we had to maintain those general conditions. And so again, the majority of this change order is a little over $40,000 for general conditions.
So we've moved into the new first half of the building
We have.
and flipping over to the second half, and this keeps the project rolling.
That's right.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments on item G? If not, is there a motion to approve? Oh, now, James has moved, Jason has seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. All right. Now, we'll get this electronic stuff going. Item H is to approve a request for proposal for Embark Media buying partners and authorizing the administrator to advertise.
Yeah, so this is a pretty standard item. We typically bring this, every time it comes due. So this is essentially, we partner with a consulting group to take a look at the possibilities of media buying, right? So that's making sure that, if we were looking at possibly running a commercial or a radio ad or something like that, they'll help us negotiate those buys and help support staff with that.
Okay. Any comments or questions? If not, is there a motion to approve item H? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to item I, which is to approve a request for proposal for Embark Public Relations and Strategic Communications Services and authorize the administrator to advertise.
Another standard RFP that we bring to the board, so public relations and strategic communication services. So these are the folks that help us get our message out to the public, specifically if there's something going on or if there's some sort of emergency. They also help support staff with communication to the public. A good example of this would be recently during the winter storm, right? They helped Embark get on the news media to be able to share our message of how we were continuing to provide service during the winter event. And so they helped provide that access to the different media outlets.
Okay. Any comments or questions about item I? If not, is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item J is to approve a request for proposal for transportation planning and coordination consulting services in preparation for the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Games and authorize the administrator to advertise.
Yes, sir. So this one is a pretty exciting one, but before I jump into it, one piece of housekeeping. So in your packet, there is a city council memo. That is not part of what you're approving today. That is just part of the packet. But what I would like to point out is that this is consulting services to help us plan for the LA 28 games. Reminder, we are a hosting city. We'll be hosting games at Riversport Rapids and Devon Park for the softball Olympic Games there. And so we, as we're getting closer, again, we're 861 days from the games here in Oklahoma City. As we get closer, we want to make sure that we are maximizing our efficiency when it comes to the planning for the games. And then clearly there are, we want to make sure that we are having direct communication and have more communication with the folks in LA and also in DC. And so this planning group would help us come in and help us plan for our transit services to help support the games. Good example would be, you know, if we're looking at providing a park and ride to help support the games, they would help us plan out that location, the route, the timing, what type of wayfinding we need at that. Really just a lot of support, because we're going to be on the world stage and we want to make sure that we do it right. And so we're looking for an RFP to help consult with us to help support those games. And then one final note on this, so we'll be approving it here, but we'll also be taking the similar item to the March 10th City Council meeting, so part of this RFP, the major focus of it is for transit planning services. However, we have added alternates in that RFP to help support the police, fire, IT, and city manager's office as well. And so we're approving that RFP today, and then on March 10th, City Council will also support that.
Now, it's my understanding that the participants or contestants are being coordinated through LA 28 people, and our responsibility is with the general public getting to those venues.
That's right.
So there is a difference in that there will be transportation for both, but we're not handling the
Yeah, during the games, we see it as we will be providing service to 3 different, essentially, buckets, right? So we will be providing service to the folks that are using public transit to get to the games. We'll be providing service to folks that work at the games, and then we'll be providing service to folks that just need to get to where they need to get to that day. The other service, specifically like for the Olympians, will be provided by Team OKC.
Yeah, okay. Any other comments or questions?
Is this part of a larger RFP, or are we managing this separately?
No, we'll be managing this, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve item J? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. So item K is to approve the final plans and specifications for the Transit Center staff restroom remodel and authorize the administrator to advertise for bids.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so just real briefly, so our transit center was built in 2003. Back in 2003, we had less service coming to the transit center, but as we've continued to grow, we've outgrown the capacity for our employee restrooms. Our senior project manager, Josh Pitt, will give a real quick presentation to give you an idea of what that scope looks like.
Is there a clicker?
You're good.
Huh? All right. This transit center restroom remodel. So the need for the project, as Jesse stated, operates with a pulsing bus system. 8 to 9 buses arrive at the transit center at the same time. Drivers have 5 to 7 minutes to use the restroom. And with the limited stalls, this leads to waiting in line and often results in delayed route starts. So the scope is we're going to expand the employee restrooms and modify the employee entrance. I'm going to move it, which you'll see shortly, and add a sink to the break room. The current restrooms, as you can see, only 2 stalls in each restroom, one being a handicap, 1 sink, outdated color palette, so I'm going to update that as well. So here's the current floor plan. As you can see, very small restrooms, and the current employee entrance, they're on the west side of the building at the top. And we're going to be moving. How do I go back? Sorry. All right, so this will be the new layout. So in doubling the size of the restrooms, the stalls and the sinks, moving the employee entrance to the north side where we can install a vestibule for help with temperature controlling that space, because there's a lot of traffic in and out. And then you can see there at the bottom, the new sink we'll be running all new plumbing for that. And here's another, you can see where the employee entrance is now to where we will be moving it. On the inside there as well on the right. And then, so the timeline, hoping to get that approved today, go out for bids in March, approval for, award the contract in May, construction begins in June, and complete the project in January of 2027. Any questions or comments?
Are there any questions or comments? Sounds like it's an improvement.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve item K? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically.
Working.
Do we have?
So, yeah, Angela's isn't working. Sorry.
Okay.
Can I verbally
But
vote
yeah.
affirmative?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Motion passes. Item L and item M are both authorizing and directing the municipal councilor to prepare and file all necessary paperwork and to effectuate settlement on behalf of COPTA without admitting liability in a claim filed by Francisco Javier Fuentes Rojas, and/or enter into executive session on advice of municipal councilor to receive confidential communications from its attorney concerning the above claims as authorized by statute, because disclosure would seriously impair the ability of the public body to deal with the pending claim in the public interest. And so is there a motion to move into executive session for this item? Right?
Yes.
Here.
LM, we're doing LN.
Well, and we'll consider that one right after this.
Yep.
Okay.
Separate-
So we're
separate
going to
votes.
we're going to do separate votes, but with the same intent of entering into executive session.
We'll do separate votes to go into executive session, and we could hold off on actually going into executive session once we finalize the agenda. If you'd
Okay.
like, Chairman.
Okay. Okay, item L then is to move into executive session. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. And Angela?
Verbally approve.
Okay, motion passes. And then we will go ahead and move to item M, which is to authorize and direct the municipal councilor to prepare and file all necessary paperwork to effectuate settlement on behalf of COPTA without admitting liability in a lawsuit filed in Oklahoma County District Court, Matthew Solis versus COPTA, and enter into executive session on advice of the municipal councilor to receive confidential communication from its attorney concerning the above claim as authorized by statute because disclosure would seriously impair the ability of the public body to deal with the pending claim in the public interest. Is there a motion to move into executive session? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. And Angela?
I will vote to approve.
Okay. Motion passes. Okay, do we want to stop and go into executive session right now then? Okay. We will be back. Okay, we're back from executive session, and then to consider item L, to a motion to proceed with the attorney recommendations. So can we get a motion again, or do we need to do that verbally? Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to authorize and direct the municipal counselor to, et cetera? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. And then on item M, again, the same thing, to authorize and direct the municipal counselor to prepare and file all necessary paperwork to effect a settlement. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Item M passes. Moving on to item 7 in our agenda is the ratification of payroll and vendor claims for the period December 24th, 2025 through January 21st, 2026. Is there a motion to approve or to ratify? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. The motion passes. Item B is the ratification of payroll and vendor claims for the period of January 22nd, 2026 through February 18th, 2027. No, excuse me, 2026. Is there a motion to approve these items? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Okay. Moving on into our financial reports, we have item A is to receive the schedules and revenues and expenses budget to actual for 6 months ending December 31st, 2025. And then item B is to receive the schedules of revenue and expenses budget to actual for the 7-month period ending January 31st, 2026. I'll let you take it over.
Good morning. We're going to be looking at our financials for the first 7 months, which ended January 31st, 2026. So starting off, we're going to start with our transportation operating fund, where our revenues exceed our expenses by $573,000. Our year-to-date revenues are below budget by 2%, while our year-to-date expenses are below budget by 1%. So looking at our revenues, I'm going to start off with our other passenger revenue, which is slightly below our original projections. This line includes employee bus passes and CDBG passes. The $17,000 variance shown here is tied specifically to our CDBG bus pass program. Passes are distributed to service providers either monthly or quarterly, just depending on the organization, and we generate invoices once those passes go out. In January, we did not distribute passes because our offices were closed due to the remodel. So that negatively impacted our revenue projections for the month. However, since then, we have reallocated the budget and resumed normal bus pass distribution. And as a result, we expect to see this variance improve over the next couple of months. Then moving on down to our miscellaneous revenue, we are currently below our original year-to-date projections. This is primarily because we expected to receive our CNG tax credit in January. We applied for the tax credit several months ago. So as soon as that comes in, we should be getting a credit of approximately $355,000. Something else to note here is when you compare this revenue to last fiscal year, it appears we're down about $655,000 from prior year. However, last year we received a one-time transfer of $625,000 from the general fund for energy cap, which had been inadvertently left out of our budget. We corrected that for this fiscal year, so the revenue is now being recorded in our subsidy line instead of in miscellaneous revenue. Moving on to our expenses, we are under budget in most areas. However, in our supplies, we are currently over our year-to-date budget by $315,000. So as mentioned in previous meetings, and Jesse kind of mentioned this briefly earlier, the variance is driven primarily by the higher than expected repair and maintenance parts costs, which includes the need to replace engines on several of our buses. In addition, CPI-related increases continue to push parts prices higher than in previous fiscal years. So our total annual budget for repair and maintenance parts is $2.3 million. As of January 31st, we'd already spent $2 million, or 90% of that budget. While savings in other supply categories have helped offset part of that overage, they will not be sufficient to carry us through to the end of the year. At the current spending rate, we project an additional $1.5 million in repair and maintenance parts costs through the end of the year, which would put us approximately $1.2 million over budget in that line alone. So as a result, we do anticipate bringing a budget amendment to the board later this year. We're actively reviewing all of our expense categories to identify potential reallocations and determine where the gaps will remain. So before I move on, I want to pause right there because I know that was a lot. So I don't know if there's any further comments or questions. Okay. Moving on to our parking operations, our expenses exceed our revenue by $11,000. Our year-to-date revenues and expenses both come to $3.4 million. So in revenue, there's not a lot to highlight here. We are right on target in most of our lines. But something I do want to point out is we are currently $106,000 under budget in event and transient parking. So most of that variance comes from our transient parking line, which is down $129,000 from prior fiscal year. However, parking validations are up $62,000, which helps offset part of that variance. Something else to note, in February, we received a $650,000 payment from the Professional Basketball Club for parking passes for their season ticket holders, and this revenue will eliminate the negative variance and move us into a positive position going forward. Then looking at our expenses, first I want to look at our parking garage operation. So as noted at the bottom of the report, we currently have a $274,000 in unrecorded expenses in this line, which results in a negative variance of $243,000. The variance is primarily due to the number of special events that PCI staff has been working. And then I want to look at other services and fees. We're currently over budget in this category by $48,000. So most of this variance comes from our miscellaneous services contract. So as a reminder, the city has an agreement with the Professional Basketball Club to provide parking for their season ticket holders. And then Embark pays RICO to lease 2 lots close to the arena for that parking. And then the city reimburses Embark for those expenses. The city issued their annual credit of $247,000 in February. So beginning next month, we should start to see this negative variance improve as well. Then moving on to our river cruises, our revenue exceeds our expenses by $39,000. Our year-to-date revenue is $603,000, which exceeds budget by $7,000 or 1%. And our year-to-date expenses are $564,000, which meets budget. If you look at our total revenues for general fares, specialty cruises, and charters, you're going to see that we are $497 under budget for the year, which is less than 1/100%. So we're essentially right on target, which is actually pretty well considering the river's been down for most of the year.
Hey, Christina, can you back up to the parking expenses just quickly? No, this is it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So moving on to expenses for river. If you look at our total, flip page here. So in our supplies line, our largest savings is in fuel. So we are coming in under budget compared to our projections, but of course, again, with the river being down, our trips have been much shorter, so that's significantly reduced our fuel usage. But as we prepare to reopen the river, we should expect to see this amount go up. And then wrapping us up, we will end with our streetcar operations, where our revenue exceeds our expenses by $903,000. Our year-to-date revenue is $4 million, which exceeds budget by 1% or $39,000. And our year-to-date expenses are $3 million, which are under budget by 17% or $633,000. So I won't be doing a deep dive into streetcar today since our revenues are significantly outpacing our expenses. However, I do want to continue to highlight the overall savings in expenses compared to last fiscal year. Last year, expenses for the same period totaled just over $4 million. I know the report shows it's $3.5 million for last year, but at the time of the January 2025 report out, we had $537,000 in unrecorded expenses that we noted at that time. So when you include those amounts, the total savings between this year and last is $982,000. With that, that concludes my presentation. Any comments or questions?
Okay. Thank you, Christine. Okay, moving on to, we need two motions. The first one is to receive our budget for December 31st, and the second one would be for January 31st. So we're receiving that first one. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Okay, item B is to receive the January 31st financials. Is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded. And if you'll hold on just a second, okay. Motion passes. Okay, moving on into our program reports. We have two presentations, the capital improvement projects presentation and then the marketing and community engagement presentation. So would you like to go ahead and come up and do the capital improvement project presentation?
Yep. So I am back, giving an update on the South May headquarters remodel. So the scope of the project, we're adding a large training room with 42 seats, 3 conference rooms, updated call and dispatch centers, expanded operator lounge and break room, 16 private offices with 49 cubicles, 3 private lounges, one of them being a nursing room, and adding acoustical baffling for sound dampening. It's sensitive. Thank you. So here's a map. So phase 1, we're just about completely wrapped up. And phase 2 will be kicking off March 16th, I believe. And then, so here, the bottom left, you can see kind of the concept photo for the reception area from the very beginning of the project. And on the left there is the actual, so it turned out very, it's nice to see that vision come to fruition. Restrooms, so the last update that we gave in November, this is what it looked like there on the left, and this is the finished product there on the right. Big improvement. Can you go back one? So, in addition to the 2 sets of men's and women's restrooms, we have 1 family restroom there on the left, and drug testing restroom. The photo on the right is right outside those restrooms, water fountains. One of our conference rooms are medium-sized Horizons. There on the right was our last update, and so today, this is what, on the left is what Horizons looks like. And our large conference room, the Bricktown conference room, we don't have our AV in there yet, so there on that back wall we'll be adding AV, and all the conference rooms, and IT open space. So they're on the right, they're installing sound baffling, which works great. They're reduces the echo, you can have private conversations, makes a big difference in those open spaces. And they're on the left, a couple weeks ago, the cubes being installed. Dispatch center, so they're on the right is what dispatch was before. The space that they're getting there on the left has a total of 6 total workstations, 1 cube, and with 5 sit-stand stations. Because of all the AV going into this space, the monitors, we couldn't do the sound baffles hanging from the ceiling, so the ceiling tile are actually rated very high for sound dampening. They work pretty well. Some other spaces, we got the kitchenette there on the south end of the building on the left photo. Copy center there on the right. Technology lab there on the left, where operators can come print their pay stubs, do some training, anything that they need a computer for. Private offices there on the right. At the end of the project, probably about 4 weeks ago, Cade Construction brought in Wonder Van Pops kind of as an appreciation to the employees in Embark. And during our open house, everyone got as much ice cream as they could eat. So that was really, really awesome of Cade. Going over the budget. So the original contract, $2,800,000. With the change order 5 that you guys approved today, it puts our change order increase at 7.05. And with the amendments, the total increase is 8.13%.
Okay, are there any comments or
Questions or comments?
Looks great. I asked Jesse if he would maybe schedule the Transportation Committee meeting that's coming up here in March, later in March, maybe to be at the administrative building,
Yeah.
and so that we can kick the tires a little bit
Yeah.
and see it. So if that's possible, I hope we could effectuate that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, our second presentation is on marketing and community engagement. Armando?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Get started with doing a recap of our marketing, community engagement, and business development efforts over the last quarter. I'll start with a recap of our Downtown in December promotion. This is, I believe, the 4th annual that we participated in this. But again, just for a recap, this is free rides promotion as part of Downtown December, each weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, from November through January. The early part of January, we allow anyone to ride the streetcar for free. And so this year, we had promotional ridership over the weekends of just over 22,000 riders. We also supported that through social media and programmatic digital marketing campaign. And so you can see the results of those there. We had over 28,000 views on our social media with engagement of just under 400. And then our digital display, our programmatic ads, 303,000 ads with 407 clicks on those ads, again, driving awareness of the promotion. So overall successful, a little down in ridership compared to last year, but very close. It was just a slight percentage decrease. And then rolling right out of Downtown in December's promotion, free rides, we continue that with the board's approval of our 6-month fare-free pilot on the streetcar. So here on screen, you see a few of the ads that we've put together. Our team has designed to help us promote leading up to January 5th. So we have been working with our local partners, so Downtown Oklahoma City, all of our districts, so Midtown, Otto Alley, and Bricktown, making sure that they were aware that this change was coming, and so that when we got to the end of the Downtown December promotion, we're able to immediately switch gears and start promoting free rides on the streetcar. So these are examples of posters and digital ads that we have. We did hold, sorry, didn't realize there was a video there. Let me go back.
For an adventure, now through July 5th, ride the OKC streetcar for free. Cruise through downtown OKC, Automobile Alley, Midtown, and Bricktown with 22 convenient boarding locations. Whether you're headed to lunch, shopping, or a night out, the streetcar makes every trip easier. Don't miss out. Ride free today.
So as I mentioned, right off the new year, we started that Monday, January 5th with a media event at the streetcar maintenance facility, bright and early with our staff, Jesse, Director Rush, and Delano Fisher there hosting. We had 3 media stations there, again, conducting interviews, doing live segments from the streetcar facility that morning, and got a lot of coverage that morning. So in all, we earned about $125,000 in media coverage. And so that was a great success for us. And so, again, help get the word out to have a strong launch and get this awareness out in the community that streetcar was now free for 6 months. We've also our business development team has been out working on partnerships to help, again, find businesses along the alignment to help us promote this great promotion. And so one recent example of that is a collaboration with Factory Obscura. So we had a few of their mascots, if you will, ride our streetcar, and we did some filming, and we did a little behind-the-scenes video teaser, but the video will be releasing here in anticipation of spring break to help drive traffic to Factory Obscura and also promoting, co-promoting that the streetcar is free and an easy way and convenient way to get there. And if you haven't been there, it's just off of the Automobile Alley stop on 8th and Broadway. All right, some community events that we participated in. You'll see a photo here of Director Rush, his family, and Trustee Cooper. We participated in this year's MLK parade, and so we had a bus, and then I know, and some walkers in that event. So again, it was a cold day, but a great turnout and a great community event for us to be featured in and be a partner of. We've also been busy out in the community. Here are a couple examples of Greg and Tiffany out at the Santa Fe South Family Resource Night. So we interacted with about 100 folks there. And then thanks to Trustee Cyber, we've been out participating at the Mexican consulate on a regular basis. This makes about our 4th visit that we've been there. The city, different city departments go out to the Mexican consulate on a monthly basis, and Embark is in the rotation for that. So we're out providing information about our system resources, different routes. Here on screen you see Greg and Veronica Luna, who's our customer care associate, and so she's out helping with translation and answering any questions a lot better than I could about the specific bus routes and needs that our riders may have. So it's been a great event, and we continue to look forward to doing that outreach. And then just this week, our mobility and community engagement team were out at the Pete White YMCA grand opening. You may notice one of the trustees here in the photo, Trustee Ruiz, and his group of mariachis there performing. But the team was out, again, promoting senior services along with just general Embark services that day to the community. All right. And then also continuing with our theme of in the news and getting awareness out. As you recall, our board-approved community half-price sale occurred this past December. And so I just want to provide a recap. Here's a few examples of News 9, again, focusing on the second part of that, right? We have the public side where we do the 1 week of half-price sales for our current riders, but we've also extended our partnership, or extended the sale for 3 weeks to our community partners and nonprofits, and that's been very successful for us. And so this has helped us get additional coverage that you see here on screen, and is a good PR angle for us to promote. And so we did that, and you see Jesse being interviewed a few times here. But overall, for the half-price sale this year, we eclipsed the $300,000 mark again, slightly down from previous fiscal year sales, but again, continue to build on growth, and we'll it's just really adjusting with the market and condition of nonprofits right now. Budgets are tight, just like everywhere, for everyone, and so we just adjust with them, but we're continuing to have success, and we're working to continue to update our marketing as we get in, prepare for the sale to start again in July. And again, continuing with the in the news theme here, as I mentioned, streetcar is free, but we also are being good neighbors and being impacted by the demolition of the former Myriad site and new NBA arena. And so this is just a few examples of some of the ways that we've been communicating when we've had recent service disruptions. And so we have been able to work and partner with our media outlets to, again, inform the community when we have closures and transition to bus bridging. And so we've been great, good partners with the media to help get that message out. All right, and we also had a great Christmas. So for those that aren't aware, Rapid Northwest actually celebrated achieving the 1 million rider milestone on Christmas night. So we finished the calendar year with just over 1.01 million riders. And that's a great achievement for service just being over 2 years old. And so with the weather and the timing of the year, we were able to finally put together an event a few weeks ago in mid-February to recognize that. We held and hosted media out at the Northwest Expressway and Meridian Park and Ride. We made Jesse and Carly both available, but we also focused on featuring one of our drivers, Fritz Etheridge, who has been a driver of Rapid service since it began. And so we have a number of drivers who we featured in our press release that have all been there since day one. And so we wanted to make the story about the impact that they have, and also work to tell the story and their why, for why they enjoy driving Rapid and the impact that their customers have on them. So we were able to do that with our local media. This received about 3 mentions, 2 on television and 1 in print, and earned about $40,000 in advertising value. And winding down here, I just wanted to give an update on the Thunder Game Day Shuttle. We continue to provide that service to Thunder season ticket holders and to the public that want to take advantage of this during game nights. Current ridership is just over 5,000. We have 10 regular home games remaining in the season, hard to believe. But we're gearing up for the playoffs. So we will be able to support the Thunder again as they make their playoff run this season. And then looking ahead, the river cruise season begins in April. And then also we're gearing up for our annual free Festival of the Arts rides and marathon rides. And then we're looking forward to our 4th year of the Women's College World Series shuttle. If you recall, last year we were able to grow that ridership just close to 5,900 riders. And so this year we'll be adding a 4th bus to, again, try to grow that ridership significantly. So we're really looking forward to that. And one final slide. In closing, I wanted to recognize the work of our team. On February 1st marked the 60th anniversary of the board and Embark. And so our team has put together a video that I'd like to play for you today. I will shout out Jesse as the script writer, originating visioner. But I'd also like to note the efforts of Greg Singleton, who kind of produced the video, and then the editing was done by Lloyd Rosen. So with that, we'll play this for you guys.
Before highways and boulevards, Oklahoma City moved on dirt roads and horse teams. Transportation was about survival, about connection, and about becoming a city. Before long, steel rails and wires humming with electricity-powered streetcars, shaping neighborhoods and commerce. The Belle Isle Power Plant energized a system that declared Oklahoma City had arrived. And by the end of the 1930s, nearly 19 million Oklahomans were using public transit. The arrival of the world's first parking meter signaled a change in our city. Folks were buying more cars, and buses replaced those early streetcars. Flexibility had been chosen over permanence. In 1966, COTBA was formed to manage the bus system and parking. Transit became a public service. First operating as the Oklahoma Transportation Company, then rebranded as Mass Trans in 1975 until 1992, when it was rebranded as Metro Transit. Through decades of automobile ownership increasing and public transit ridership decreasing, Mass Transit continued to keep the wheels turning while adding access via COTBA Handy Transit in 1982 for those with mobility impairment. The MAPS project sparked a transformation. As revitalization was brought to OKC, so was the idea that transit could once again shape the city, first with the launch of Oklahoma River Cruises in 2008. Operating under a new name in 2014, Embark unified services, modernized fleets, and restored confidence. Rails and streetcars returned to downtown in 2018, not for nostalgia, but for strategy, anchoring development and reconnecting districts. Rapid launched in 2023, the boldest bus investment in generations. From horse-drawn stage lines, to electric streetcars, to buses, garages, and BRT. Oklahoma City's transit story is not a straight line. It reflects the city itself, adaptive, resilient, and always in motion. The vehicles have changed, the streets have changed, but the purpose remains the same: to provide access to opportunity, to each other, and to the future.
And here in closing, you'll see our 60th anniversary logo. And this morning, before the meeting started, at your stations, you all have received a bag that has some swag in there for you to enjoy and represent the 60th anniversary of Embark. So with that, I'll close and take any questions.
Great video, so, by the way, so enjoyed the history. Any other comments or questions? All right, thank
All right,
you.
thank you, guys.
Okay, I guess we need a motion to receive our program reports. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Items from trustees. Robert? Meg? Angela? Bailey?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll be super short. So March 18th is Transit Employee Appreciation Day. So we will make sure that we do a fantastic job of showing that appreciation for our transit employees. However, on March 10th, Mayor Holt will be reading a resolution recognizing our transit employees at City Council. So clearly anyone is welcome to join us. We'll be bringing some of our legends from our Legends program to be here to be able to receive that resolution, and but looking forward to that. It's a pretty annual event that we do every year. It's done across the nation. So March 18th is Transit Employee Appreciation Day across the nation. So other agencies do similar things, but we want to make sure that we show that appreciation as well.
All right, very good. Thank you all for coming today, and at this point, we're adjourned.
Thank you.